What I have here is, I think, quite an interesting CV. One of my students opted for a functional CV, and it's not always an easy choice to make. Basically, I wanted to know what you think of it.
Well, I like this kind of CV very much. I like a one-page CV in which you really force yourself as an applicant to select, okay, and you're not overwhelming the recruiter with too much information. So this is, I like the layout, which is very clear. I like the conciseness of it. This looks very good. I take the interests and pastimes section. I like the idea of just dropping a couple of interests in the CV very concisely. Aviation industry, writing trade manuals. There's no point in actually, adding a 3 or 4 line description of these pastimes. If I want to talk about these pastimes with the applicant, I will do so. If not, I won't. That's it.
Okay, but don't you think that it's a bit too loose? For instance, the skills section. I know it's important, and theoretically it's a good functional CV. It's a good one, but according to me, I think it's a bit loose for a CV. It's supposed to be facts and figures, and it's supposed to help the recruiter form a view of the past and perhaps future of his applicant. But I think it's quite loose, and it doesn't really give those facts. So I'm not quite sure about the functional CV.
Well, as you said, this looseness, as you call it, is probably an inherent feature of functional CVs anyway. So I think it's quite a bit of a challenge for a young person like this to try and come up with a functional CV. And most people steer away from functional CVs, and they prefer the traditional chronological CV, that kind of thing. One thing you could say about the skills section here is that some of these sentences, to me, are too long, okay? And again, it takes me 3 or 4 seconds to read them, and that's perhaps too much already. That may sound hilarious to somebody who's not in the business, 3 or 4 seconds. Yes. But some of these sentences look a bit like with the subclause, because of my people skills, that kind of thing. I would make it even more concise. I'm not sure about the looseness. As I said, this is probably an intrinsic feature of the functional CV anyway.
Well, and perhaps would you think about a mix of a functional CV and a chronological CV? According to me, I think it would have solved the looseness a bit, because either a mix of functional and chronological, or functional and performance, I don't know, but I think it would have made this a bit more concrete. What do you think about that?
Well, in a way, this is a mixed CV, isn't it? I'm not sure about these different categories, functional, chronological. I've never seen a kind of purely functional, purely chronological CV. There's always a mix, so I think as an applicant you need to be aware of the different categories. At the same time, you're very much encouraged, I think, to come up with your own brand of CV. So I don't think we should be too sort of fundamentalistic about these different categories.
Okay.
One thing that seems to be missing here is information about languages. That's terribly important in today's intercultural society. I don't get any information about this person's skills in terms of foreign languages. I would be assuming he's a native speaker of English, but what about French, Spanish, German, Dutch even? I don't get any information about that at all.